Hello, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Russell.
And I'm Matt. How's
Matt's,
it going?
Matt's on the podcast, guys. It's a long-awaited thing. So we're doing this podcast a little differently. I'm running this through Zoom because we live in 2020, I guess, and this is the only way you can have human connection anymore.
It is.
So the audio may sound way better because I'm actually routing the audio audibly so I can hear you, but also I'm routing it through the speakers on the computer or through the program. So this may sound really good or like complete shit. And there's only one way to find out. It's when I'm done and editing this. So we'll see.
Well, it'll work out, hopefully.
Yeah, so Matt, here's the question I always ask a new person on the show. How do we know each other?
How do we know each other? Alright. Well, my freshman year at Purdue, I made the worst decision and decided to work at the co-rec.
Uh-huh.
And, we had the same shift. What was it, like 8 a.m. Monday morning?
Dude, that shift wasn't at 8 a.m. That was earlier. I think it was at 7.
Was it 7?
I'm fairly certain it was like 7 a.m.
Or whatever it was. Like, we had to wake up on a Monday morning and work at the worst place that you could on campus.
So, yeah, we both worked at the gym, and Jacob has been on this show once, and for those of you who don't know Jake, we'll explain Jake a little bit later.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. You would think, for me, I was like a fitness lifeguard, essentially, is what my job was. It was like quasi-trainer, quasi-lifeguard. You would think that's an easy and fun job. But you'd be fucking wrong, because you didn't go to Purdue, and you'd be fucking wrong. So, it wasn't. It sucked. And Matt, what was your job?
I was basically a glorified janitor before I went to co-rec.
Yeah, and the thing with being this janitory kind of position that we ran into was... how do I describe our boss without being too mean? He was a fucking asshole. So,
It's kind of hard to describe him without saying flat out what it was.
yeah, so, yeah, what do I say?
I don't know. We both worked there for what? A semester, maybe a few weeks after, before we decided to quit because it was that bad.
Yeah. So, oh, Matt, speak up a little bit.
Alright, how was this? Is that better?
Yeah, you're beautiful. That's that creamy money shot kind of audio that I like hearing.
Perfect. Yeah, what was the whole debacle with you and the check that happened?
Oh my god. I fucking forgot about that. Holy shit. So, first, we weren't allowed to talk to each other at the co-rec for some fuck-off reason. I don't know why. Also, my hair's doing a thing. I got a haircut today during the apocalypse, which is fucking impressive.
At your house, right?
Yeah. My boy is a barber, and he came through to give me a haircut.
Nice.
But he wore a hazmat suit. Not fucking kidding.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. He's, like, straight up wore, like, protective stuff so, like, we wouldn't infect each other. Because, like, giving someone a haircut's a very, like, close quarters thing. Yeah. But we wanted to stay safe, so, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's what happened. So at the co-rec, we weren't supposed to talk to each other because we were supposed to be fucking diligent or something. Fuck that. But, what happened was it really led to this weird kind of dynamic where people had to like sneak around to just talk to each other at a gym, which was supposed to be like an open kind of place. Apart from that, most of the people who like worked out there were fine. I never ran into any problems, except the one person I worked with who hated me for no reason. From day one.
Yeah, she talked to me all the time and like loved me, but every time she saw you, she had this awful scowl, like she just hated your guts.
So there was someone we worked with. She's not gonna listen to this. Her name's Cassie. Literally day one started working there. I mean, I'm on the same shift as this person, so we're the only two working in this giant Purdue University facility that's supposed to accommodate 40,000 students. So it's a huge gym. And I was like, oh, hey, it's also my first day. What's up? And she literally gave me this fuck you look. And I was just like, hey, we're working together. Like, let's not hate each other kind of thing. Fucking day one. Hates me.
Dude, I think I remember that when we were just sitting in the break room, and I was just, like, sitting on the table, and you walk in, and she's just standing there and just turns to you and gives you, like, the dirtiest look. I'm like, what is happening?
And then the same day I met Matt. And yeah, but this whole check thing. So, for those of you who don't know, I have epilepsy. I developed epilepsy while I was working at the co-rec. And I had a seizure while I was at work. And because of that is one of the main reasons I left that job. Because it was getting in the way of work, and it was getting in the way of school, and I had to focus on my health. So, they paid me too much on my last check. And there was a whole thing, and I was like, no, you guys paid me too much. Also, you weren't cool about me having seizures, and were going to fire me for having epilepsy, which is illegal. And then the university themselves, I told the university this through this whole debacle, which one day I'll get into. And the university backed me up on this, and they're like, yeah, you guys at the co-rec fucked up. He has no, like, need to actually pay you back. And it was like $15. It wasn't like they paid me $10,000 over or something.
Exactly. It wasn't that big of a deal.
It was literally...
They're still like, we need our money. And it's like, why?
Yeah, it was literally the amount of money that you could have in your wallet and lose, and it wouldn't ruin your day. Yeah. It was that much. It was like what people tell you to go into a casino in Vegas with. It's like, go in with $15, you win, you lose, you lose. That kind of thing. Yeah. But that's not how they fucking took it.
Not at all.
And then Matt and I ended up living together. Well, we essentially lived together for like 3 years.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So, yeah. Matt and I... oh, boy. Yeah, Matt is one of the people I've wanted to have on this podcast because there's stories I've told on here that Matt can back up.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because I think Matt and I hung out pretty much every day from the time I met him.
Yeah, it was about, like, I think it was when we started hanging out was about quarter of the way through the first semester.
Yeah.
Once we started getting to know each other a little bit through the co-rec, just hanging out and talking.
Yeah.
And then we got into some shenanigans.
Yeah, shenanigans for sure. There was, so for those of you listening, you know that friend you have who's like a good friend, but they're a bad influence? We're that for each other. It's a negative feedback loop where it's one of those things where it's like, I have a bad idea, and then you'll top me with another even worse idea. And then it's like...
Wait, then you're like, oh, let's do that one.
Yeah, let's do that idea. Or, fuck it, let's do both ideas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the definition of what happened. But I think we should start this off, since we're all locked inside. I think it's a really good time, a better time than any, to talk about bad roommates.
Oh, jeez. I know one for sure for you.
So, yeah, since, if you're listening to this from the future, or when the apocalypse is happening because we've run out of toilet paper and gone Mad Max, and you're listening to this, hey, what's up? Thanks for listening, even though it's the end times. Sick. I am now a tribal warlord. Please bow down. Actually, no, I'm not. I have epilepsy.
Toilet paper. Yeah. I'm eating it because I'm hungry.
Yeah, no, I have epilepsy. If I don't have my meds, I'm dead. So I'm not lasting. It's over, son. But if I do manage to get my like minions and my interns, I'm turning my interns into my army. If I get my interns to get me epilepsy meds and steal them, I will live forever. So, thank you for listening from the end times. But I feel like it's a good time to bring up roommates. I think most everyone has had roommates, whether they be your parents, whether they be friends from college, in like life, living as an adult, or whatnot. I've had some doozies. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I'm going to talk about at least 3 of them on this show, and it's not Nate. Nate was our other roommate. Nate's awesome. I love Nate. Nate needs to come on this show, because...
Nate does.
Yeah, holy shit, Nate needs to come on here. So none of this will be about our other roommate, Nate. This is going to be about the twins, and let's call him Greg. We'll refer to the twins as the twins because there's no name to them. But they are identical twins.
And that's honestly what we called them the entire time he lived with them.
Yeah, and they were so identical in personality and in looks that you actually couldn't tell them apart.
It was so scary because one would walk in, say something, walk out. The other one would walk in, say the exact same thing, and walk out. There's no context.
Yeah.
Like, what?
What would you say is their diet? Like, what was the diet of the twins?
Dude, all I remember is the amount of Mountain Dew cans that they kept throwing away.
It
was so bad.
Yeah, it was what I would like to call pretty fucking gross. This isn't meant to be mean. They were actually really nice guys. They were incredibly nice people, except they were like if a robot alien civilization built humans, what they think what humans would be like. They were what were they? What was their major? Because they had the same major.
Was it computer science?
Or
something along those lines?
Yeah, they were big computer guys. Like, they had VR stuff. They had, like, high-end gaming PCs.
They were always, like, hiding in their rooms, playing video games. I don't even know what they played half the time.
Until one of the twins was like, no one ever uses the middle room, so we're moving our PCs out to the middle room on the giant TV, and then they lived only in the middle room.
I remember that. That was so painful because they would just walk in when we were watching a movie and start playing. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like. Sorry, I thought you guys weren't doing anything. What the fuck are you talking about? We're all sitting here. We're in the middle of something, and then they'd come in and sit in that weird other chair, and they'd be like, we'd be in the middle of a movie. They'd be like, so have you heard about?
That I still have to this day.
Oh, God damn it. So they were good. They were good roommates insofar as it was like living with two robots. Like, they didn't disrupt anything. Mm-hmm. They were just like they live really close to me. In Chicago, they don't live very far from where I live.
Really?
Yeah, they don't live far. The problem is, I drove them back to Purdue one time. I swear to God, they said 4 words the entire trip.
That's like 2 hours.
Dude.
And 4 words in 2 hours?
Dude, I picked them up, and I was like, hey guys, how are you? And they're like, we're good, how are you? And I was like, oh, I'm good. Fucking nothing. I asked them, like, oh, do you guys want to listen to music, podcast? And they're just like, You don't know how frustrating it is when you're trying to be a good host and good driver to like people or like a group of people who aren't just not having it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So they were fine, and that was like the introduction. When I met Matt, I'm like, oh yeah, 2 of my roommates are fucking robots.
Yep.
And my other roommate,
Greg, is just a plain dick.
So Greg kind of looked like the twins.
He kind of did, but skinnier, and thought he was the biggest dude on the planet.
Dude, oh my God. So, okay. How do I describe this person? We got along fairly well my year before I moved into this apartment. And I was like, okay, you're a pretty okay guy. And like okay enough to live with.
Yeah.
And I had gone over to his dorm a few times just to kind of see how he lived, just to kind of get a feel for it. He was really clean. That was one thing. He was very neat. But he had a bit of a drinking problem.
That's an understatement, I'd say.
Yeah, and I'm not shitting on people who drink. I can't because I have epilepsy.
Yeah.
But, dude, go get sauced and shit. That's fucking fine. I don't give a fuck. It's not my body. However, if you go get drunk and you're a prick about everything and, like, you're like, you have no impact on the apartment, you do nothing, and then you come back drunk like, why is this moved 4 inches? 1, it's fucking my blender, you bitch. 2, why the fuck do you care? And 3, go to bed, you're drunk, it's 4 a.m. He was that, And then I remember there was one time he brought a fine young lady home for Scrabble. Maybe. I have no idea. I doubt that he has a penis. But he invited this fine young lady over, and I didn't know about it. So, obviously, I just walk around with my boxers on. And I would just cook breakfast like that. And he didn't, like, text any of us or anything about this person coming over. And I don't give a fuck. It's not my date. It's not my thing. That's cool. Just give me a heads up to fucking put clothes on.
Yeah.
And
be a little presentable, not half naked.
And this was also
your dick hanging out of your boxers.
Yeah. This is also a version of me that gained a little bit of weight. So now I'm back to being trim Russell. There was a little short period there where Russell's a little heavier. I went from very fit to heavier, now back to fit. So we're good. However, I was cooking food. I turned around. This fucking girl is right the fuck behind me. I audibly said, like, fuck! And I dropped everything I was cooking on the floor. Because you don't expect to turn around and see someone you've never seen before in your life. Like an absolute stranger just standing there.
In your apartment, in your kitchen, with your boxers on.
Yeah, at like 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Like, you don't expect that. The reason I was up so early is I picked up a shift at the co-rec. That's actually why I was up that early. But
nice.
I just remember I was like, I like went to Greg's room. It's fine, whatever. Fuck him. We went to Greg's room.
just cut that part out. Just cut that real quick.
I'm not editing that out. I don't give a fuck. So I went to Greg's room. And I was like, "Hey, bud." He's like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Hey, dude, I hope you had a cool night last night and stuff, but hey, just like give me a text next time you have someone over." He's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Well, because I was cooking this morning and she scared the fuck out of me and I dropped all my food everywhere and I was really sad because it made me a little late for work, which wasn't good." He's like, "I don't think it's my responsibility to have to tell you." I'm like, "Dude, we live together. I don't want strangers in this apartment. And like, I know this person's probably super nice, super cool, and she was very polite to me. However, like, dude, that scared the shit out of me." Yeah. And like, I'm not mad that I got scared. I'm like, dude, there's like a stranger. And for a second, I'm like, what is going on? Who is this person? And then I'm like, this is who it is. Like, it took me like a second to put it together, but I'm like, did I fucking leave the door open? Like,
yeah, like, it could be a psychopath stealing all your spoons.
Yeah,
like,
which is, I'll tell that, well, the story of what I used to do to people. That's fine. Don't repeat it. And yeah. So that was the thing. He was the worst. Also had a drink problem. It was just super rude. What was your impression of him?
You know, he always would, like, give me, like, I don't even know, like, just awful looks for no reason. Just, like, always trying to size me up for no reason. And, like, whenever you had, at that time, your ex.
Yeah.
We'll call her,
fuckhead.
Yeah. Like, whenever, like, we would just be sitting there talking and, like, you were taking a dump or something, and he would just walk in and just, like, glare at us. I'm just like, yo, what's your problem?
Yeah. Oh my God.
And, like, the second you walk in, he starts being a little bit nicer, but still such a huge dick.
Yeah.
All the time.
So this isn't a flex by any means. So I'm, like, 6'4", and he's probably 5'6", 5'5". Yeah. Really skinny. And at the time, I was also a little heavier, so I was really big. And I am not a very angry, kind of intimidating-y person. But he was, like, freaked out all the time. And I'm like, dude, your weird energy is freaking me the fuck out. Like, I don't know what this weird-ass energy is, but you're acting so... Like, you know when someone's done something wrong and they're acting suspicious? It was that. That was his...
All the time.
Yeah. Where it's like, he stole something from you and he's, like, covering up the whole time. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And, like, we'd invite him to go do shit just to try to be nice. And he's like, why would I do that? And I'm like...
Like, why not? You don't do anything besides drink.
Yeah.
Do something else.
Yeah. And then I remember we invited him to Fiesta one time. And then he's like, no, I don't want to go. And we fucking saw him there. And I just remember he tried to avoid me. Fiesta's one big fucking room. You can't avoid someone in there. It's like this.
Yeah.
It's just like this taco place at Purdue, and I'm like, and he was by himself, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know, dog.
But yeah, he's a bad roommate. So in these times, just make sure, since you're locked in at home, being safe and whatnot, make sure your roommates are cool-ish, and if they're not, I'm so sorry, this time is going to be way worse.
Especially with the extension on quarantine.
Yeah, so what have you been doing to pass the time?
Honestly, just playing video games. Mostly just laying on my bed, maybe watching some random-ass YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Or honestly, lifting in the home gym that we kind of built.
You built a home gym. I built a home gym. It's the only thing that brings any sanity.
It really does. Because it's just being cooped up in your room, doing nothing all day.
Yeah.
And then just looking forward to be like, oh, I can just walk outside my room and get a quick pump.
Yeah. It's like I can just walk into my garage and do everything I need to do for a lift and come back inside.
Yeah.
Like, there's always so many times you can jerk off during the day before you're like, I need to lift.
But before you start shooting blanks and then you just start hurting real bad.
You're like, okay, I'm going to choke myself one more time, and then I'm good. And then you do it 2 more times. But that's something completely different. I hope my parents listen to this. Listen. So, yeah, that's kind of what it's like right now, which is weird. And I have no idea what to make of any of this because, here's what's going to happen. One of two things. We're all going to leave this situation with really healthy habits or really unhealthy habits.
I feel like for me it's going to be very unhealthy because just I've been laying in my bed, just like eating snacks and just watching videos. Like it's been literally nothing.
The weird thing for me is on this whole thing is I've been eating way less because I don't have a schedule anymore. So like
I also feel that like I've only been snacking, but like I can't really go out and buy like a ton of meals.
Yeah.
With this stupid travel ban, like you go out like maybe once every 2 weeks. It seems like it's very rare you go out.
Yeah, it's super strange because usually, for those of you who are new to this or listening, I'm also in grad school and I have a job thing that I do, which I think I've talked about very lightly on this, which is part of our sponsor, which I'll talk about later, which is the company I work for.
Sponsor.
Right? It's the unofficial official podcast of this thing. But now that I don't have that, I'm like kind of sort of waking up at like 10 a.m. and I like go downstairs and I'll eat something small, but then I'm like, I don't have shit to do. Like, all my grad school stuff's online. It hasn't restarted yet. My work stuff is all online. And since I'm in the film industry, there's no filmy happening right now. So, cool.
I mean, like, the only really good thing about you having a job is that you can go to your own studio and film something. But, like, for everybody else, they can't really do anything besides making home movies with their family or whatnot.
Exactly. Like, I could go to the studio. However, you're not allowed to now.
Really?
Yeah, because the studio, this people are listening don't give a fuck about this, but the studio also, the agent who works there has, like, talent, so it's technically a business. So if we went in there, we'd have to go in through, like, the garage or, like, the back of the building and leave all the lights off so no one knew we were in there. Because there's, like, a thing, I don't know if it's in Illinois as well, but in some states, it's like you can report businesses that are staying open and they can get ticketed or, like, fined and arrested and shit. That's
really?
Like, yeah, that is a real thing. So none of us want to run that risk.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, of course, I get it, but also I'm like, if none of us have any symptoms, and there's only 3 of us, and we're all super far apart, I'll use a fucking Zoom lens, dog. I'll just record a monologue. I don't give a fuck, but that's not important. Yeah, this is a weird time to be alive.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sure.
I was thinking about, let's air some grievances on this show.
Alright, what type of grievances are we talking about?
I love Purdue University. I'm a proud Purdue graduate. I'm wearing a Purdue shirt right now.
Dude, I'm still going to Purdue. I'm drinking out of a Purdue cup right here.
Boiler the fuck up. But, like anything else, no institution is perfect. Let's start. This isn't meant to just shit on Purdue as a school. I love Purdue. I'm a huge Purdue fan. Boiler up. But let's talk about how super easy it was at Purdue and very stress-free to pick new classes.
Ooh.
So imagine the DMV is all digital, but it doesn't work at all.
And that is Purdue registration right there.
Yeah,
it's a fucking nightmare.
Dude, I remember, we'll talk about Jake in a sec. I remember Jacob Snapchatting me a picture in like November of the Purdue registration page. I legitimately got heart palpitations. I'm like, that gave me so much anxiety.
Dude, okay, so I have to register this week over the phone with my advisor. How the hell is any of this gonna work?
Dude, I hope your advisor, in a lot of ways, was like mine. My advisor, I'll give her a shout out because I love her. Debbie, I'm fairly certain Debbie was a genius because I've never met someone who gives such little fucks about their job. And it made me
Besides
so...
you.
Yeah, except me. I also give very little fucks about what I do usually. I do care about my job right now, but I live on a 20% fucks at all times. But I hope your advisor is like Debbie, who's like, you walk into her office, maybe the 8th time you've been at school, maybe a few times a semester if you're having a difficulty with a class. She'll be like, oh, who are you? Awesome. So good. And she'd be like, oh, so what's your major? You only deal with film students. What the fuck do you think my major is, Debbie?
Like, come on. Are you really that thick to not understand that the students you are advising are film students?
Dude.
And you are the film advisor. What do you think they are? Engineers?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, Chris, who lives or used to live behind you, saw her at a liquor store buy like 640s.
No.
Yeah. He Snapchatted it to me after I graduated, and I'm like, Debbie is my queen. I love her. She's my favorite.
Debbie, she is my spirit animal.
Dude, I remember she definitely used to smoke cigarettes in her office and blow it out the window, because when you walked in, she had like a rug, or like not a rug, like a towel rolled up under the door. And,
that just reminds me of some weeknights when I saw him here.
We'll talk about that. Don't worry. We'll talk about being very sleepy a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got really tired a lot. So, we'll talk about that. But I just remember Debbie hotboxing her fucking office with cigarette smoke. Because, like, whenever you got a sheet of paper, it just smelled like cigarettes.
Really?
Dude, I remember, like, her seat, like, the seats in her office, just... There was a Debbie's office cigarette smell, and I'm like, I love this. This is my favorite. It's so shitty, and it's so... It's like this whole, like, sophisticated computer system that's, like, online that Purdue has done a really good job with, and Debbie does not fucking use it. She uses papers, and looking stuff up took 30 minutes to find something that should take 4 minutes online. I loved it. It made me so happy. I love inefficiency at its finest.
Especially when it comes to advising and registering.
Yeah, and so as someone who's also changed their major 1,000 times, how's your experience been?
You know, it's been pretty great, especially when you try to contact an advisor and they're just like, hey, why haven't you contacted me? I'm like, bitch, I just did! What do you mean?
Dude, oh, God. There's a lot that's different about DePaul, where I go now, and about Purdue. But one thing I miss about Purdue is just pure inefficiency, and I love it. No one knows anything about their other office. When you go from advising, and let's say you're going to, like, push, like, student health for something, and you hurt yourself, so you can't be in class. People will be like, oh, you have to get this thing notarized by this person, sent to them, done this. Oh, and also it has to be in my office by 4 p.m. Otherwise, you fail the class. And let me tell you,
you have to transport the paper by foot across campus.
It was the best kind of stress where, like, you see other students doing it, you know who's doing it, because they have, like, this big slip of paper, they're running around campus, and I'm like, it's great. And you have to go to the bursar's office, it is so big, and it's, like, on the 11th floor, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry.
And you still have no idea where it's at. Every time you go in, you're just like, where the hell is this place?
Dude, oh my god. There was one time, my senior year, there was an issue with my cap and gown. I don't remember. Like, they ordered 2 of them for me or something, but they were going to...
I think I remember that.
Yeah, there was some issue. They either ordered 2 of them, or there was part of something that got mixed up. And I had to go... Purdue has... It's a giant campus. For those of you who don't know what Purdue University is, it's a big state school. I had to go basically all the way from, like, the north end of campus by where... what's the name of the building next to Elliott, where all the administrative stuff is? Where they're building the new building now.
Oh, shoot. It's not Hovde, is it?
It's not Hovde, it's next to Hovde. It's one of the administrative buildings.
Yeah, it's the one where the financial aid office is. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, so I had to go in there, which is just like an office building on a university campus. Mm-hmm. And this is where the sheet of paper that they emailed me told me to go. So I went there. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. This actual person who's part of our department was moved to the Cranert building. And the paper was due at 3 p.m. It was 2:05. And that's why I show up an hour early, just in case there's any issues.
Yeah.
Cranert's a mile away.
And you had to walk there by foot because you had to park in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I had to park by the football stadium, which was like another half mile the other way. So I went all the way down to by Cranert. I remember, and I got there like 2:20. I was like, damn, I made good ass time. Mm-hmm. When I got there, I found the person somehow. And then they're like, oh, okay, perfect. And they're like, well, you have to bring it back to the other building to get it processed. And I'm like, God damn it! I just remember that. Like, I was like, I have another 2 weeks at this university, one of which is senior week. I'm done with all my finals. I'm done with everything at Purdue. Yeah. So, needless to say, I was getting tired a lot.
Dude, they were just trying to make graduation the most painful process that could ever be done.
So, yeah. Oh my god. This is a note for you, and anyone else listening who goes to a big state school. I had no real problems with eating meat until graduation at Purdue, where we were lined up like cattle in the armory, which is a big like military barracks on Purdue's campus for the ROTC program. The armory has no air conditioning. My graduation was in May. It was 86 degrees. You're wearing shirt and tie in a fucking black robe like a wizard in a big-ass room.
With a ton of people.
Yeah, with, I would say, probably 1,500 other students.
Yeah, because that was only, like a quarter, not even a quarter of your graduating class. Because they split it up in like 4 or 5 days, didn't they?
They split up commencement into 5 days, and there's 10 different commencements to accommodate all the students who graduate. So it's grad school and undergrad graduation.
Especially from each different school.
Yeah.
So, in the university.
Yeah, so like the School of Liberal Arts, which is what I was in, sick liberal arts degree, what up? Even they were split up because it's a huge school, because enough people definitely don't give a fuck about their future. What's good?
Yep.
Thanks, masters. So don't worry, I'm getting a master's of science. I'm not totally fucked.
Good. Good to hear.
Yeah, good to hear, dude. Good to hear. But yeah, so that made me see like, oh damn, this is how cows feel. Never eaten beef again. That was a real thought I had while standing in that line.
Really?
And at the time, I still had my tumor in my leg that was like at its full fucked upness.
And so, you were just standing there for probably about an hour or so waiting to walk around campus.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I just remember thinking to myself, like, I'm so stoked I'm graduating. This is going to be a good memory. But every memory I have of that day is also the amount of pain I was in. So, like, it's, you know when you have a really good memory, but you're also like, oh yeah, that also sucked while this was happening. It's like being on vacation but having a sunburn.
Yeah.
Or it's
I know
like,
exactly what you're talking about.
So, yeah. So, we'll fast forward from there. Matt and I had the brilliant idea of living together with Nate. Which worked out. Matt and Nate, and I think me, out of all my roommates, were the ones I got along with the best. We had no real conflicts.
Oh, yeah. And even if we did, it was very minimal. That was resolved in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, it was like, oh, hey, dude, you left this like this. Or, hey, man, like, shit, you forgot to lock the door. Or something like that. It was
like, hey, you forgot to leave the door unlocked when we walked out. You fucking idiot. We had to climb through the window.
Yeah, I was filming a project, and it was actually a really cool project. It turned out really well. But, yeah, we were all walking out the door together in the project. And I was filming it, and I locked us all out, and we had to break in through Matt's window.
Dude, and we broke the screen on the window just to get in. I climbed through and opened the door for you guys. And then I did it myself later.
Yeah,
in the summer when no one was there. It was just me, and I locked myself out of the fucking apartment at like 8 o'clock at night after the office closed.
Where we lived, I think, was really cool where we lived. However, the management there,
it was ass. It was so bad, especially with the people above us and them dealing with that. It was so bad.
Yeah, above us. So where we lived was off campus in West Lafayette, and we lived in like a place where I guess there's a bunch of cops who live there because there's these like nice townhome condo-y things. But a lot of students live out there as well because it's away from campus and it's just not as noisy. But above us were a bunch of football players.
Yeah. And boy, did they give no fucks.
Dude, I'm 70% certain that they had like a keg. And they like every 6 hours, they just drop the keg in the middle of the floor. And we'd be like, what the fuck was that?
Dude, and do you remember the screaming match that happened outside? Holy shit. That scared me so bad because I thought this dude was legitimately about to kill this girl.
Yeah, it was
scary.
Yeah, it was so sketchy. It was right next to my car, and at the time, my car was really new. And
didn't it get broken into, like, right before that?
Right after it got broken.
Oh,
yeah, my car got broken
that.
into, and unfortunately, there's no cameras facing that direction. And our sketch-ass upstairs roommates were, like, definitely not suspects. In our downstairs chain-smoking roommates, I, like, went down there, and I was like, hey, did any of you guys see anything? And they were like, no, we didn't, but, they're like, maybe you should ask the guys on the third floor. And I was like, right? But I'm like, I don't want to get killed. And they're like...
I think I remember us trying to talk about going up there, but we're just like, yo, but what if there's this huge jacked guy that's just like, yo, just answers the door and you're just like, oh, no, never mind.
Never mind. I'm going to go back downstairs. Whatever I was going to talk about, not that important. Oh.
Yep.
Dude, oh my God. That was bad. But also, our apartment was haunted.
Oh God, it's such a weird thing that happened. It was, what was it, like three main different things. One wasn't that bad. It was the tortilla chips.
Then there's four, because I know another
there's
one.
Four? You have another one that? Okay.
Yeah, so you tell yours.
The first thing that I noticed, besides the knocking in the wall, which was the weirdest thing ever, was tortilla chips. So I went to the store, got some groceries, put the tortilla chips on one of the top shelves. In a few days, I wanted some chips and salsa, as one does in the middle of the night. And I go up there, and then the tortilla chips are just gone.
Yeah.
And I had no idea where the hell they went. And I asked Russell and I asked Nate, and they were just like, dog, I don't know. I haven't seen them. And I was just like, all right, I guess the ghost stole it.
Yeah, and that's when it started. That's literally when that joke started. The ghost stole it. And then we're like, that's really funny. But things continued. I think the next one that after that we had this whole joke about the apartment ghost was it with the Raspberry Pi? I think it was the Raspberry Pi.
It was with the TV, and David Dobrik just popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know what a Raspberry Pi is, it's like a little mini computer you build, and it's kind of like if you make your own Apple TV or Google Fire Stick at home and you can play games on it and stuff. It's a really rudimentary computer that you can hook up to stuff, and that's what we used. So, Matt just got a dick pic from somebody because he just gave me the weirdest look I've ever seen.
Just like one of the when you force yourself to frown, you're just like,
Yeah, God, that's bad. So we had that, and one day it just turned on, and Nate, you and me were all standing in your bedroom.
Oh no, we all went to our separate rooms.
Yeah, we all went to our separate.
So we were all watching it. We were all watching some. I think it was. What was the
Houston
name?
Jones. It was fucking Houston.
Yes, Houston Jones. As I remember, the last video that we watched was him pouring hot wax on himself.
Yes.
And so we turned it off, turned the TV off, and we all went to our rooms pretty much to go to bed for the night.
Yeah.
And then I just hear fucking David Dobrik blaring on the TV. I walk out, no one's out there, and I turn, Russell opens the door, and he's like, yo, what's happening? I'm just like, I don't know. And then we knock on Nate's door, and he's just like, what's going on, guys? And it's like, the TV's on.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened.
Dude, yeah. There was that, and then there was two others that I remember. One happened to me specifically, and I know for a fact you and Nate were both gone. So it was during the day, and you and Nate either one of
shoes.
Yeah, it was my shoes.
Yes.
So you and Nate, one of you drove the other person to campus. So you guys were both gone.
And then I came back, and I think I went into my room immediately after, and then you came up and asked me about it.
Yeah, so I got back earlier because I drove separately, and one of my classes got canceled, and so I was back weirdly early. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a big shoe guy. I got a lot of shoes. I'm a big sneaker person. So
big hype beast.
Oh yeah, gotta get with the Yeezy, son. You
gotta
can't
flex on them bitches.
I have so many shoe boxes up there, it's not even funny. So I was looking for a specific pair of shoes to wear to the gym, because we had a gym at our apartment complex, and then there's the big one on campus. So I was looking for a specific pair of shoes, and I took as many pairs of shoes as I have. I'm pretty organized with them, so I either have them all in boxes or all like laid out. So I moved all of them to one side of the room and into the hallway where my bedroom was. And I was like, weird, where are they? And there was nothing else on the floor in my room. I walk around, I'm like, did I somehow leave them out on the porch? Because we had this huge porch patio. So I walked out there, I walked back into my room, and they were sitting like next to each other, like you just take them off your feet like magically in the middle of my fucking room. And I was like, I just like was speechless. And then Matt like had come home, and I was like, hey man, the fuck's up with this? And it was something about the ghost. And
I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then you're just like, then you told me the whole story. I'm like, I think we definitely have a ghost now.
And then we were all eating, and it was you, me, and Nate. And I think it was the time that we made the bratwurst burgers for the first time.
Was it?
It was one of the times, because we used that spinny grill thing I have.
Oh, yeah, like the pizza cooker that we made burgers
and wings on.
Yep.
Super good call. I have that. I haven't used it since college, and I'm thinking about using it again because I'm fucking locked inside. So I remember we were all sitting there around our table, and the sink turns on. It fucking turned itself on, and we're all like, yo, son, this isn't good.
I remember that. It was just so weird because we were just sitting there having a nice dinner. Just like, I don't even know if we were watching anything, just sitting there talking. And then, we just whip our heads around like, what just happened?
Yeah, and we're like, this isn't good. And then for the rest of the year, we had this joke where whenever anyone came over, like, you have to be nice to the ghost, say hi. And then people would be like, hi, ghost. And I'd be like, no, you have to mean it. Otherwise, he's going to fuck with us.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't think anything really crazy happened the rest of the time we lived there.
Yeah, it was just like 4 instances within the course of like maybe 2 months or a month And we're like, this is really weird. And then we started addressing the ghost. Nothing ever happened.
Or we also had the idea that someone could be living in either our pantry or in the ceiling.
Yeah, we had a huge pantry in the dino closet because I had a picture of a dinosaur on the door. So we had this really big pantry, and then in the ceiling we had like this vent that was huge, and we had no idea where it went, but it was like 7 feet in the air. So like we could touch it with our arms, but your like head wouldn't hit it.
It was almost like a little attic, but we were also on the second floor, so it kind of didn't make sense.
Yeah, that would be an attic. It would make more sense on the third floor.
Yeah.
And it was like a utility duct. And we were like, what if someone's living up there and coming into our place and like stealing little bits of food and shit? And then after that, I was super paranoid about it. But we never had any issues.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about being tired. Because that was a formative part of my senior year of college.
Dude, that was... I just remember us for me, I was kind of an engineer, even though I changed out of it, but we legitimately turned into the best engineers at 2, 3 in the morning.
So, for those of you who don't know, when you have seizures and epilepsy, depending on what state you live in, they have specific laws on products that can really help you sleep better.
Yes.
And you have to get a little card, and they're green. And there's specific locations where you get these special sleeping meds. And you can go to them. And sometimes, in other places in the world, you have to meet someone who gives you these special sleeping meds. And they can be kind of sketch. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they get busted and get arrested, depending on what state you live in.
Yeah, which happened a lot.
Yeah, which happened. So I went through a bunch of different sleeping guys. Went through a bunch of them because I kept getting arrested, and I was like, man, this is a bummer. Like my sleeping meds guy keeps getting arrested, and if you didn't know, sometimes when you consume these sleeping meds, you get really hungry. Some people call it the munchies. So that's important for this story. So. Matt and I got a hold of a very regular supply of sleeping medicines, and you could consider us botanists at this point.
We were for sure botanists. It just reminds me of the Martian movie where he's like, oh yeah, I remembered, I'm a botanist.
Yeah, that was us. And unfortunately, in the state of Indiana, their laws on these products are very, very tight.
They are very tight, and they still are. I don't know when they're going to be loosened up, but probably not for a while.
And in Illinois, you can go to places and you can have these anywhere. You can staple it to your face. No one cares.
You can staple it to your face, walk around Millennium Park, and they're just like, oh, that's just normal.
And we'll get into the Lollapalooza thing, where they took your jewel, but they didn't take the other stuff.
Dude, that was so whack. I should have put that in my shoe as well.
Yeah. Oh, we'll tell you about how that happened. So...
And the raid. Don't forget the raid that happened.
Oh my god. Yeah. So, our senior year, we all had our own bathrooms in our like bedroom part. So it was like a bedroom, then you walk through another hallway as a bathroom. So we had no public bathroom in our apartment, which was annoying for parties and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because like you can go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and not wake up your roommates. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really nice having that.
It was actually incredibly nice and really convenient.
Yeah.
And we decided that Matt had the biggest bathroom. And you could
I did. I don't know why I did, but I just did.
Yeah, so Matt had the biggest bathroom. So we had this thing where we would open all the vents in the bathroom and we would turn the shower on for steam, because when steam binds to smoke, it helps it dissipate faster.
We also took out all the smoke alarms. One, because some of them were beeping randomly, and we didn't know why.
And we changed the batteries and everything.
Yeah, we did everything that we should have done, and they just kept beeping, so we just took them out. Some for some sleeping med reasons, but
and then because this smell can really stick to stuff, and it's a very specific smell.
Yes.
So we decided that Matt's place was the best to partake in this activity.
Yes.
And so it started all fun and games where we would do this.
Dampen towels, put them under the door, put them near the window.
Yeah, and we were playing fair. No one got hurt.
Yeah.
Except we realized after a few times that the vent in your bathroom connects to Nate's bedroom.
Yup. And every time we would just go to the bathroom and come out, Nate would walk out and be like, yo, how are you guys feeling? And we're just like, yo, we're pretty tired right now.
Yeah, and then remember there's like a video he sent us of just like smoke and steam coming out of his vents? He's like, my roommates are at it again.
Yeah.
So
that was a real thing.
Yeah, oops.
And sometimes they came out of the vents and it wasn't even us, it was the dickheads above us.
Yeah, so like all of our vents were connected, so it wasn't even us who were always the culprit. And then with this, what happened was when you do this a fair amount, you build a tolerance. That happens.
It can be a very high tolerance at times.
And then you do what I do, and you get cocky. You get really cocky.
Especially with a new type of medicine.
Yeah. Holy shit. So, there's another person involved in this, and we won't bring her in this situation because, So we'll just say it was Matt and myself in the bathroom. And we had our medicine that we were enjoying, of course, over a running sink and a running shower because good for the fucking environment. And so we had...
We were very green.
We were a very green apartment. Oh, very eco-conscious. So we had this, and then we were like, okay, yeah, we've had our fun and all this stuff. And then I decided to pull out, or like we had, how do I put this in a family-friendly way? We had extra sleeping meds that I put in a roll of paper, and then you can enjoy them that way. And it was way stronger than I thought it would be.
And you only went through what, about a half of it, and then I had
slightly
to finish it
more.
off?
So slightly more than a half because we'll get into our engineering in a second.
And then you kind of had a little bit of a panic attack into the bathroom, and where you had to sprint out.
So I was
like, Matt, I have to. It reminds me of the Big Mouth episode where Nick Kroll or Nick, is just like, your house is pretty cool, but it's freaking me the fuck out, and I need to get out of here right fucking now.
Yeah, that was literally me. So I was sitting, and I remember this so vividly. And usually when you have these, you don't have a lot of memories. But I remember this so vividly. I was sitting on your toilet, facing the shower, with my hand, like my head in my hands, like pulling my hair back, like that kind of thing, like you're about to freak out. Yeah. And I had the item in question sitting in my fingers, and I could feel my fingers getting hot. So
the homemade item in question.
The homemade item in question, and I gave it to Matt, and I'm like, oh my god. And he's like, what? I'm like, dude, I need to get out of here. And I'm like, he's like, and you're like, what? And I'm like, I'm too sleepy. I need to leave. I need to leave right now. And I was
like, dude, you're fine. You're just like, no, I need to leave now. And I was like, all right.
And I remember, I just walked out of your room, tried to close the door as fast as possible because you don't want to let all the hot air out.
30 seconds for you to shut the door too. How does this work? Because the towel kept getting stuck. You wouldn't move the door. And then you finally got it shut. Walked out my bedroom door. And then just laid face down on the couch.
I just remember, I was like, Matt, I feel like my feet are going over my head, like I'm on a handstand. And I was laying down.
Like you were doing the scorpion on the bed, or on the couch, where you were laying flat on your face.
I just remember I was like that. And it's one of those where I'm like, dude, this isn't even fun. This isn't even good. I don't like this. It's just, I'm too sleepy right now. This is permanent. But then
we put on some Rick and Morty,
and
it turned out fine.
It turned out fine, but I turned out that my weakness when I'm sleepy is peanut butter.
I just remember, I just was watching Rick and Morty, just chilling. I think it was starting a new episode. I was trying to adjust with the volume levels because one of the episodes was a little quiet. And I just turn over, and I see this dude just going ham at a jar of peanut butter with a spoon, just shoveling it into his mouth. And I turn over, I'm like, yo, you've been over there for about 30 minutes with that peanut butter. Are you good? And he's like, dog, this is pretty good.
I just remember my mouth. Sometimes with the sleeping medicine you take, your mouth can get really dry.
Very dry.
Yeah, it can get super dry. And depending on how you take it as well, it can get even more dry. Because sometimes smoke makes your mouth dry in general. And I just remember I was eating this peanut butter, and I was like, you know when you're really tired or you're really sleepy and anything seems like a monumental chore? Like, I need to go get water. Yes. Dude, like, I need to pee. I have to get up now? Nah, son.
Dude, and you have to, like, completely use all your energy to focus on that one moment, especially when you're trying to pee and you're just like, all right, gotta focus. Come on.
You start laughing. I remember one time I was, like, about to pee, and my mirror, my bathroom mirror over like the medicine cabinet was like adjusted slightly so I could see myself. And I just remember just like looking at myself and laughing. I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? I just remember that so vividly. And what else were we really into besides I was super into peanut butter. Peanut butter is like my crutch. And as
you were also super into wings at 3 a.m. You can't forget about those nice dry rub wings.
So, yeah, I was, I turned into a chef after I got very sleepy. I was like, I put black rubber
and chefs.
Yeah, I put like black rubber gloves on and like all this shit. And I started like delicately, like actually preparing legit chicken wings. So I cut them. I dry rubbed them.
Season them, throw them in a bowl, toss them.
Yeah, this whole thing. And then I'd make like a fuckload, and Matt would eat them too. And it was just like literally at 2:15, 3 in the morning, we'd have this. And we'd look at each other and we're like, yo, we're such fucks. Like, we are turning into a stereotype.
Yeah, we literally were, especially with that low-sitting couch where we're...
That was a comfy-ass couch, though.
It was, but it was... such a sleepy couch.
It was that couch was not meant for productivity.
No, it wasn't.
And I remember after, so this is what we were doing before I got my sleeping medicine, card from Illinois. Thanks. And I remember afterwards I had the ability to, get, this, my sleeping medicine in a electric capacity, and it could be vaporized in a pen form. You figure it out.
That I think probably was the best sleepiness that we felt, except for our double layered device that we handcrafted, turning into fucking blacksmiths, banging on a sheet of metal at 3 a.m.
Yeah, when you have the raw materials for sleeping meds, just the raw materials and no way to consume them, you have to be very clever, because you can't just take this raw material and heat it up and then feel the magical effects of this material.
Sometimes you got to be very meticulous in cooking it or crafting a device.
Yeah, sometimes you have to make it edible, and sometimes you make a vase type thing, except you don't have a vase, and you feel weird
All you
going.
have are the Ocean Breeze juice bottles.
Yeah, so. And then you feel weird going to the store to buy vases, because the people at the store who buy vases are really weird, and they look at you funky, and you're like, oh, which vase do I buy? Which one works the best? It's like, I don't know, dickhead. It's like, ah. So that's why we never bought a vase. Also, because I'm a child. So yeah, we used ocean spray bottles, and like little pieces of PVC tubing, and the middle of a metal pen. And then... what was that the metal we made into the funnel type device where you put the magical...
So, for the Raspberry Pi computer that we used, I was gonna use that metal sheet as an outer lining just to make the casing of the computer look nice, but I never did. And still to this day, I still haven't done it. But we used that sheet metal. We cut it with these big-ass utility scissors.
Yeah.
Into, like, some sort of, like, circle. But it was, like, a half circle so we could kind of make a little funnel. And we were beating it with a hammer, trying to get it into the form we wanted. Dude, and we were stabbing holes with it.
Dude, I remember we didn't have the right kind of oven. But I remember we didn't have a gas oven with a flame. We had it with the coil. So I tried putting the metal on the coil to heat it up because blacksmithing. Duh.
Exactly.
So it worked kind of, but we had pliers and we turned it into, some would say it's the shape of sort of like a bowl type shape. And so after we were done MacGyvering this shit up, I remember Nate came out. He's like, what the fuck are you guys doing out here?
Especially because we were loud as shit.
Yeah. Because we were already sleepy while making this.
Were we really?
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, wait. We used the electric version.
Yeah.
To use the herbal version.
Yeah, we were just like going at it like just a stressed out guy in a movie, just building this.
That you see that dude like sitting on the corner, like always like just sipping on in that cig. You just like
that's how we were.
Always going at it
with incredibly concentrated oils of this, and it was fine. I got my highest grades ever at Purdue whilst doing this. I think it's because my brain was just running on overdrive the whole time.
Fact.
And no, for real, like I had the best grades I ever did throughout my entire life through this period. So
I think I had the worst, but that was also because I hated every single one of my professors. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. So you're welcome, everybody, and you're welcome, GPA. That actually, I remember that whole year I got all A's and B's, and I'm like, I think we're a wizard.
You're a wizard, Russell.
You're a wizard, Howie. So yeah. We built this device. It was the third one because they kept getting better, and there was a lot of duct tape.
It was our Mark III, we called it.
Yeah, it was the Mark III. Do you still have that?
No, I think we got rid of it in the summer because you moved back to Chicago, and we couldn't really.
You couldn't keep
each
it
other as much, and I couldn't keep it. So
yeah, and when you consume the sleeping meds through this, it stains it with the smell. Like you cannot get the smell.
Oh yeah, especially how bad the actual device smelled. Like I remember, like after weeks of use, we're just like, yo, let's smell this because we're fucking idiots. And we're
like, dude, I remember straight up made me gag. I remember we washed pieces of it out with water. It was just like black water. We're like, ew.
It was like sludge and tar coming out of it. It was so bad.
Yeah, it was dangerous. It was a biohazard for sure. And I remember it turned out it was fine because we were like, yo, let's just do this on Saturdays. Okay. Then we're like, yo, dude, why don't we do it on Fridays as well? Obviously, we're the only people that we hang out with at Purdue. Like we're already here together. You're the other person I'd be hanging out with. And then we'll talk about Adam maybe, but that's a wild card.
Well, we still also have a few other guys that
we'll have to do a part 2. We'll have to
unless you've already talked about that.
The what?
About one of your homies passing out under his car.
Yeah, I've not. We'll have to do a part 2 of this.
Okay.
There'll be a part 2. I mean, what else do we have going on?
Yeah, you're right. We're in fucking quarantine. We're not doing shit.
What's up? So, oh God. So I got my best grades ever doing this. But I remember we lost a security deposit on this place, obviously.
Yeah.
What was the time where we accidentally had the chair go through the wall? What happened? Remember that? Where we had to spackle it up? What was that? Why did the chair go into the wall?
I don't remember. I think it just kind of fell. It might have been the ghost, honestly. I don't remember why. It just hit the corner and knocked off a ton of drywall where I had to get them spackling and clean it up.
Yeah, it was weird because it wasn't even pushed that hard. And
it wasn't.
it's like when you do like this, like, I think they can hear that on the mic. And it's like that, and just a huge fucking chunk falls off. We're like, oh no.
Shit.
Yeah.
We're just like, what do we do? I'm just like, I'm just gonna get some wall spackling, clean it up later before we move out. And that's what I did. I just filled in some of the holes that we had in the walls from chairs rubbing up against them.
Yeah.
But that one specifically was a big project, and it took a while for it to dry.
Dude, yeah, it did. I remember that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, we were being like, also we were like college kids as well at the time, and we were profoundly dumb because we're like doing all this dumb stuff, but also we're like, yo, we can't get caught by the cops because there's a cop that lived in our building.
Yeah, on the same floor, just a few apartments or units down the line.
And we had like...
all our vents were connected, by the way.
Yeah, and we had like the Florida-style apartments where you have the outdoor hallways and like the indoor like apartments. So it was like...
Sucked in the winter, but they were still nice.
Yeah, they were very nice, and it was really spacious. So that's what we had, and I just remember that we were cooking some of this material into an edible form using peanut butter and Nutella and graham crackers.
Dude, I think the Nutella ones were the shit. Like, those were so bomb.
They were fire. I remember, like, we looked up... There's actually a video you can look up right now. It's on Vice. It's how to make one of these. It's stupid easy. Like, it literally takes less than an hour. Not even. It takes like 20 minutes.
And you just put them in your freezer and they last for months. Like, they don't go bad for a while.
Yeah, and this is like our condoning this. Like, yeah, do it. No, it's...
But be safe.
Yeah, be safe. And don't set off the fire alarms in your apartment while doing it.
We've done that a few times.
I remember one time doing it, and a piece of this material is very flammable, because it's plant matter. Very flammable in an oven. And we were really careful to make sure that all the pieces were in like the little ramekins we were cooking this in. I remember a piece fell out, and there was just smoke coming out, and it smelled like this.
I remember that.
And then it's like beep, 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 and we're like...
We caught the entire apartment on fire because we went into our rooms just for a second.
Yeah.
And then, boom, instant fire alarms going off.
Yeah.
And we started freaking out.
Yeah, because, I mean, the fire alarm thing going off is ultimately fine if there's no fire. The problem is the smell. And we're like, we're fucked. And we finally got it dealt with. I remember we were taking blankets and, like, flapping them.
At the fire alarm, trying to get it to shut up.
And, like, flapping out the window.
Yep. We opened up all the windows, all the doors, trying to get all the just smoke out of the apartment just from that one little flame in the oven.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so this is a PSA that if you're in college, if you're going to college, if you're going back to school, if you're going to live with anybody, make sure they're okay with your fucking shenanigans, because... I can only imagine what it would be like if we're doing this and Nate wasn't cool with it.
It would... I don't even know. We honestly would have to go into the backwoods near our apartments.
Yeah, where I filmed that.
Do anything.
Yeah, and the backwoods are really cool because there's like this river and stuff.
Yeah. But still, it's kind of sketch just to go back there because weren't they by the trailer parks?
Yeah, the trailer park was on the other side of this huge river. So it was like pretty like intense river, but there was like this real sketch like trailer park on the other side. And like I remember filming out there, and as soon as we wrapped filming for my senior thesis, we heard like shouting, and I'm like, getting the fuck out of here. This is not good. But Nate, the reason we haven't talked about him a lot is because he was never around.
He was always in his room. We would hear him screaming at FIFA or something, sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning, but other times he was just working on homework. Yeah, he was always working on homework or something, because for mine, I was in film, so a lot of my work was with other people. And then all like the papers I just did between classes. So when I was home, I never really had that much homework to do until very close to the end when I was wrapping up my senior thesis. Yeah. But I just remember Nate was always doing stuff because our schedules were very similar. Nate's was different, and he had like friends online he just played FIFA with.
But I remember the first time he got real sleepy. Nate is a human anti-joke.
He kind of is.
Yeah, I love him.
I love Nate so much.
Nate's a big anti-joke. And I remember the first time he got sleepy. He had gotten this game called Cuphead. If you haven't heard about it, look it up. It's all hand-drawn. It's super cool.
It's such a very intricate game. If you watch people drawing it and how much time they took to draw everything, it's ridiculous.
It's like 50s Mickey Mouse stuff, or like whenever those came out. It was like Steamboat Mickey kind of thing. Is how the animation is, and it's literally all hand.
Steamboat Willie, boy.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie. It's my boy. That's when Disney used to be real racist, and they had blackface in their cartoons. Look it up. That's a real thing. That's a super real thing. They had Klans members in their cartoons. If you didn't fucking know that, now you do. How do you feel about that, having a little Mickey Mouse on your Apple Watch? That, like, anti-Semitic, racist little asshole rodent. Okay, sorry. I'm not a big Disney fan. But no, it's cool. Love him. It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's like loving Mel Gibson or Harvey Weinstein. What do you think about that?
Or Chris Pine.
Oh, my. We had a Chris Pine tree.
There's no other tree you could have.
Yeah, so
you gotta have a Chris Pine tree.
So we had this shitty ass little Christmas tree.
Also with my kind of nice one.
Yeah, Matt had a really nice full size Christmas tree. That was super nice, and we decorated it because we're festive pieces of shit. And then I had a small tabletop one that was like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. But I only put pictures of Chris Pine on it because fucking Chris Pine tree.
You gotta have the Chris Pine tree.
You have to have the Chris Pine tree. And people walk in, they're like, what the fuck's that? It was like...
You're like, dude, it's a Chris Pine tree.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, that's funny. And then some people would be like, I don't get it. I'm like, because you're an idiot. Get out.
Yeah, just leave. Just leave.
So we had that, and I remember the first time Nate got really sleepy, what happened was we were playing Cuphead, and then Nate got on this whole thing with this dumb-ass fucking indie game called Dear God.
Dear God, what a game.
I remember he was super sleepy, and he doesn't act any different.
He really doesn't. He kind of just... His reflexes are a little off, and whenever you say something to him, he just responds about 2 minutes later.
Yeah, and he's like giggly, but he like has this Nate giggle. What is Nate's giggle? I can hear it in my head, but I don't know how to replicate it.
It's kind of like... I kind of adapted it a little bit, but I kind of got away from it because this year he's been working on stuff so much in quarantine. He went home.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like
yeah, it's like this
that, like little hee-hees.
Yeah, it's like and he would just do that randomly at nothing.
Or like
yeah, it just
like that.
Out of nowhere. Like we'd just be like watching something that wasn't even like super funny, or we'd just be playing a game and just out of nowhere, just like giggles from like the corner, like, "You good, dude?" And he's like, and we're like, "Okay, I think he's good." Like we haven't broken him completely. So I remember that happened, and I remember we gave him food because we're like, hey man, when you're really sleepy, food tastes really good. And he's like, nah. And we did. I don't remember what we gave him, but it was like blueberries. Do you remember he kept like eating blueberries out of the fridge? There was something like that. He just kept eating.
Yeah.
And we're like, you enjoying those? He's like, yeah, they're really good. And we're like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, he would always have like a stash of like blueberries and like raspberries always on hand.
Yeah.
And he was always munching on them, especially when he was sleepy.
Yeah, when he was sleepy. Which was weird. So Nate was cool with it. We have a friend named Jake who's been on this show. Okay. Whenever we get sleepy, Jake wouldn't come with us, but he like also would occasionally partake in sleepy time. But like we'd like be like, oh, hey, man, we're going to go in the bathroom and figure some shit out. We have some roommate dealings. So we would do that, and then we're like, hey, man, you want to come hang out? We're going to play some music or watch some YouTube videos. And he's like, nah, I'm good. Just like, it is like Jake way. I just like, don't you remember that? And we come back out, and he'd just be like sitting there. He's like, how are you guys feeling? And we're like, good. How are you feeling? And like it's just one of those things, and the first time I think he's ever gotten like sleepy with us was when we were all together recently.
Really? When we were at my new apartment here? Really?
Well, that's the first time Nate, you, myself, and Jake all were sleepy at the same time.
Got sleepy yes.
Dude.
That was a fun night, though.
That was. So, for those of you who don't know and are interested in what my sleepy time routine is partake in sleepy time medicine. And then it will turn into Matt and I trying to turn on a game, getting real frustrated. Or we don't. We play it for way too long. We're like, this is not good.
Yeah, and then it usually ends up in us watching dumbass videos on YouTube, especially ones that we've already seen.
Yeah, that or reruns of Rick and Morty that we've seen 30 times and can recite all the lines to. Yeah, it's that, and it's never anything new. It's always the same shit. It's
nothing new, except like whenever, I think it was Nate who suggested the Sea Monsters H3 video.
Yeah, it was Nate. I'm not going to link this video below because ick. But for anyone out there,
pretty gross.
Look up H3H3. It's like Ethan and Hila, like the H3H3. If you've seen it, if you are ever on YouTube or social media, type in H3H3. You'll recognize this guy. He has a video, and just look up Sea Monster. Nate showed us this
while we were sleepy.
Yeah, while all of us were sleepy. When they start eating the ranch, and just like, we start like just...
No, remember the Alfredo sauce?
It's Alfredo, it's not ranch, it's Alfredo sauce. It's just
the white bitch with the Alfredo sauce.
Oh, God.
And when H3 said, yo, I've seen this exact same scenario in a different context that is not appropriate for people under the age of 18.
Yeah. It's just, she's just like, how do I say this? She is a fine young lady, and she's squirting hot, white, creamy Alfredo sauce all over her face in,
making very...
erotic noises.
Yes. While eating the seafood with Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, she's eating like the biggest fucking lobster you've ever seen.
Dude, and just the edits of the dipping sounds into the Alfredo. It's like they had a dip counter.
Yeah.
On screen, it was like 7 or 8 dips for this one piece
of like gross undercooked lobster meat.
Yes.
And I just remember watching that. I was like, Nate, dude, I'll pay you to turn this off. He's like, no, it gets better. And I'm like, I don't have COVID. I have a really dry throat. I do. One could even say I'm sleepy at the moment.
One could say you got a dry mouth.
One could say I do have a dry mouth. There's actually... Do you see on the camera right there? There's a mug. It's full of water. It's full of water I brought up here for a conference call I had before this.
Well, go grab it. You might need it.
It's like sand. No, I'm good. I'm actually fine.
I hate sand.
It's coarse. It gets on everything. So... Fuck. So, basically, he showed us this disgusting video, and then he showed us JRH NBR as well when we were sleepy.
Oh, right.
I'm not going to spoil J. Look up J.
You guys just need to watch it yourselves.
Yeah, watch JRH, N as in like Nathan, B as in Brian, R as in Robert. JRH NBR. I'll wait for you to watch it and come back. Okay, cool, you're back. That's a real thing that exists.
Yeah, it's pretty whack.
I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my entire life at something.
Dude, I think my stomach hurt for the next 2 days after that video.
Dude, because Nate gave us no context. Just like I'm giving you no context. He's
like, yo, just watch this video. And we're just like, alright.
And he was like almost playing like it wasn't something funny. He was like, guys, I have to show you this thing. Like,
yeah. He was being like super serious when he shows us these videos. And with no context, he's like, alright, I'm going to display this for you. And we're just like, alright. Because we were so sleepy that we couldn't move off the couch sometimes. And he just plays this video. And oh my lord.
Yeah.
I had a 6-pack by the end of the night.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Also, let me just say, with all of this, I did go to class all the time, and Matt and I also worked out for like 2 hours every day. So we weren't complete pieces of garbage. We were just kind of pieces of garbage.
And it was usually during the evenings after 6 o'clock. That was our rule.
Yeah, we
it
have to
had
get all
be
our work
after
done.
6 o'clock.
It had to be after 6 o'clock, and we had to have all of our work done and have worked out that day.
Yes.
For this to happen. So, by us having this, we actually probably got more diligent so we can reward ourselves. It was kind of not the worst cycle in the world. It was bad.
But it was...
It was effective.
It was an effective bad habit that we had.
Yeah, the funniest thing I remember was two things. One, I was like, "Oh, it's almost 6 o'clock," because we had a rule where, like, on a Saturday, we had both like worked out in the morning. We like went to the grocery store. We were like real people and did stuff, and we like had gone down to campus. And then it was like 5:30, and I remember we were like cooking. And I was like, "This food would taste better." It's like it's not 6, and I was just like, "Oh, I can't wait."
Yep, because we got the food done like right at 5:50. Set everything up in the bathroom for sleepy time.
Yeah.
Got real sleepy, ate our food, and just relaxed the rest of the night. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. It's what I think more people should do during this COVID thing. It does actually help. If used responsibly.
Especially for insomnia, let me tell you.
Yeah, you'll sleep like a baby. You have night terrors? No more. Sunshine and rainbows for you, buddy boy. So,
I eat rainbows and poop butterflies.
Wait, what was the other story I had with that? Ah, shit, it's fine. It's not that important. It probably is.
Was it with Nate?
No. It was with the an idea that I had come up with you. And I don't think Nate knew, but it was this thing where I was like, "Hey, if you're sleepy, and you need to be less sleepy, consume more of the stuff that makes you sleepy, and magically it would make you less sleepy."
Sometimes it would work. Sometimes you'd get even more sleepy and almost have a panic attack.
Yeah.
Which happened a few times, I think, to me, where I could not get off the couch. Especially when you turned on the Netflix test footage that one time.
Oh, the greatest video on the internet.
Yeah, and I was like, "Yo, what is happening?" And you're like, "Yo, it's just this beautiful story that's happening. Just watch it."
Yeah, no, so you should explain Netflix test footage.
Well, you're the one who showed it to me. It's it's kind of like when Netflix first started, right?
Yeah.
And they wanted to make sure their whole system was working. They had just some nice, calming B-roll of just some fountains, some buildings, and then this dude comes in, and you don't know what he's doing, but he's just there, and it's just a beautiful story.
It's so beautiful. He does poetry, and it's incredible.
Oh yeah.
So that's the greatest video online. You have to watch it. Also, look up Google Deep Dream. It's wild.
Dude, that is... Some of the stuff you'll see on Deep Dream...
Yeah.
It got me kind of messed up. Even though I watched it... Because you told... Make sure you watch it when you're not sleepy, and then watch it sleepy. Yeah. Otherwise, you might have a panic attack.
Yeah. If you... Honestly, everyone should actually watch this. But it's called Google Deep Dream. It's how Google's like face analyzing algorithm would visualize if it could visualize. So the algorithm basically just starts with pixels that are like black, and then it makes different colors. And all the algorithm says is when you see something that you recognize from stuff you've seen on Google Images, duplicate it and give me more. Duplicate it and give me more of what you see. So it's essentially like a Mad Lib kind of, or one of those games where everyone says the next sentence and it'll just warp into whatever. That's what Deep Dream does, but it'll start making human faces. And it's super freaky.
Especially if you watch it for your first time sleepy.
Yeah, it'll break your brain, which Jacob did. Also, we were talking about Jacob. We should have a whole episode on the enigma that is our friend Jacob and why he's even our friend.
Yeah.
I feel like Jacob he could do so much better. Like,
that's just an understatement. Like,
when I was down to see you a few weeks ago, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, when we were in the gym, I'm like, we're such pieces of shit, and he's just such a nice person. Just like, I'm such a monster. Like, I took the video of that kid on the fucking elliptical, and I remember Jacob was like, hey, that's mean, and you and I were laughing. It's like, oh my god.
It's like, oh, I kind of feel bad, but then this video's pretty great.
So, I'm gonna play it to make Matt laugh, because I still have it on my phone, because it was only 2 weeks ago. Here, let's play it out loud. I know it's bad radio, you can't see it, but this video is the definition of our friendship.
Wow.
That's the definition of our friendship. It's just us in the gym being dickheads, which should give you context to all of this. But we need to do another episode on school. There's a whole other person, 2 other people that we have really not mentioned in this that we should dedicate an episode to, because...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Especially cheese balls.
Oh, my God.
What a time.
He failed out of Purdue.
Did he really?
He's back.
I didn't even know that.
He's back, though.
He's back? How did he get back?
I don't know. It's on Snapchat.
How do you fail out of one of the most prestigious engineering schools and then get back in it?
Dude, he's back.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Also, to close the show out, what we were talking about earlier and didn't get back to it, when I went to frat parties at school, I wasn't a big frat guy. I stole everyone's spoons. Or what we would do is hide eggs around people's frat houses in really hard to get places so it smells like rotten eggs. Or we put eggs in people's shoes. That is a real thing. Or we would take one of the landline reception things, and because a lot of them have landlines, you take one out and you just hide it somewhere.
Yeah.
Or we would dump trash into the upper deck of all the toilets. We were not nice, because a lot of those guys weren't nice to me, so retribution. We'd never actually steal stuff. Usually when we took the spoons, we just scatter them in the parking lot, still on their property.
Kind of like forked their lawn, but with spoons.
Yeah. If you've ever had your lawn forked, it's the same thing with spoons, but it's in a driveway. You're welcome.
Because if you steal someone's spoon, you can't use a fork to eat soup.
Yep. The spoon is the most critical tool you have, and you keep those very sacred. Those are a blessed object, because when they're gone, dog, you can use a fork as a knife and a knife as a fork, and vice versa, and you can use a spoon as a fork. You can use a spoon to cut stuff. Man, you can't use anything for a spoon.
Exactly. Nothing holds liquid like a spoon.
Yeah, that's just a spoon company. Nothing holds liquid like us. Sick. Kellogg's, fucking hire us, dude.
Dude, sponsor this podcast. Come on, Kellogg's.
Oh yeah, this episode, for people who are looking at the picture on the thing, it's going to be called a Big Hog Entertainment one, because this is not it. This is NSFYM, not safe for your mom. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not safe for your mom, unless you are a mom, or my mom. Hey mom, why are you listening this far? You should turn it off way earlier.
Oh, you should have turned off when he said, I hope mom you're not listening to this.
Yeah, it's like, oops, this happened. But I feel like honesty is the best policy, which is why my name on LinkedIn and all my professional stuff isn't my name. So people who know me professionally can't look this up. Or maybe they can. They probably can. It doesn't take that much effort because I post this to Facebook. Fuck.
You'll be fine. It's alright.
Oh yeah, this isn't the first episode I've said dumb stuff about me. I'm fine with it. I haven't done anything illegal. I did throw a hot dog at a cop car, but I didn't do it.
That's true.
That was on my 21st. It wasn't my 21st birthday.
And almost threw a chair out of the window, but that's another story.
Those are both things that almost have happened. Well, the hot dog car thing did happen. It was right after I turned 21. I didn't start having seizures until after that, until in November. And my birthday is
22, 23-ish.
My first seizure I was 21, but it was in.
Oh really?
It was in November after my 21st birthday.
Oh okay.
Yep, because I started Purdue and stuff back again in August. So it was that.
Right,
It was when I was working at the co-rec. Yep. So it was around then, and it was in the gym at Fuse. That's a place. On part 2, we're talking all of this other stuff to give people context to what it is. Yeah, and we'll have to talk about Lollapalooza as well.
Yeah, we didn't get to that this episode. Yep, stay tuned for next episode if
Yes.
you guys want to hear about Lolla and the shenanigans that happened there.
Think what we got into in college, but in a large public setting, which is much more dangerous.
And especially all day, for 4 days.
And we'd work out in the morning.
Yes.
We looked like rock stars at the end. It's not super important. I weigh like 175 pounds. And I'm like 6'4". So I'm like a string bean asparagus man.
Almost like Gumby, but...
Yeah, almost like Gumby. What's up? But after Lollapalooza, after 4 days of this incredibly healthy habit we'd built, I weighed 161 pounds.
Dude, you almost weighed as much as me, and
Yeah.
I think by the end of that, like, 148-ish.
Yeah.
Like, I usually weigh about, like, 155, that's why I've dropped quite a bit, but still, him weighing that little, he was literally a pencil. It looked like almost.
And that was
he was still jacked still, which
Yeah.
is the craziest thing.
It was like 4 days. Now I understand what like celebrities do. Well, they didn't do the other stuff that we did, but
That's true.
We'll talk about it in the next one.
Sometimes.
Sometimes
But
at the
others-
Strokes. At the Strokes, and then also Childish Gambino, and you can't handle it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he kept running in the crowd. I'm like, this is too much.
Yo.
It's not important. But, what were we talking about? Just a second. What was the topic we got to before that? Oh, why I was so lean. Yeah.
Yes.
We also only ate legit, like, in the morning, we had that strawberry toast with, like, peanut butter, like, a piece.
Yeah.
Then we'd have, like, a Chipotle bowl. That's it for the whole day.
Yeah, we didn't really even eat dinner until, like, sometimes we would go out and then
Get
maybe
tacos.
have, like, 3 tacos, but it was literally nothing. We had it for 4 days straight.
Yeah, we probably ate 800 calories each day and probably burned 3,000 calories.
Yeah, we lost quite a bit of weight on that.
We'll have to get into a full story about that because I have
yeah.
I have some grievances to air with that weekend.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, some serious grievances. Wait. Oh, my knuckles won't crack. I was going to do the... there we go. Ooh.
I can't get all of it. But...
Dude, people who do that and do, like, their nose and do their jaw and their ears and shit, I'm like, ew, fucking weird, gross.
Yeah, the only thing I can do is my knuckles, elbows sometimes, and my neck.
I can do that. I can do, like, my shoulder if I really get it, because my left shoulder, I, like, fucked up sailing. So I can, like, pop it. But yeah, I hope you like this thing. That's Matt. Matt, do you want me to link your social media in this or no?
How about this? We wait till the next episode so they have to watch if they really want to know.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. I'll link Matt's social media on the next one. But yeah, this is a Big Hog Entertainment episode. You can see the difference in the two. Yeah, thanks for listening. I don't have a recommendation for you to watch or read for this week because this isn't the other podcast I do. But thanks. They're different names on the same channel because I'm too lazy to start another channel. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.
Dick butt.